Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Now from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Here at the show, we also say thank you to Scott Jagow, as we talked about earlier on his show. He's been a real pro to work with. We appreciate Scott very much and look forward to the next step in his life and career. He's been a lot of fun to be with here on KMOX. Drew Young is our producer. I'm Tom Ackerman. We are here in Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training. Ollie Marmol just wrapping up a session with reporters, and we're going to get right to that as the Cardinals line up today against the Washington Nationals. Features J.J. Weatherholt at second base leading off, Mason Wynn, the shortstop, batting second. Alec Burleson is in the first base position, batting third. Nolan Gorman, the DH, fourth. Nelson Velasquez in left, batting fifth. Jose Fermin at third base, batting sixth. Nathan Church is in right field, batting seventh. Jordan Walker getting a few days to work in their hitting lab, and then they're going to get him back into some games. Ollie will expand on that here in just a bit. Pedro Pajes is the catcher, batting eighth, and Victor Scott, the second, is the center fielder, batting ninth. Richard Fitz makes the start today, with Matthew Liberatore, the previously scheduled starter, working on the backfields in a minor league game. He'll throw, as Ollie will tell you here in a second, 6 innings with Fitz throwing 5, and they'll get a look at some relievers. Here is Ollie Marmol just moments ago.
You guys want updates on some of the guys that haven't been in the lineup? Yeah. So let's start with Herrera. He is progressing really well. He took 6 at-bats yesterday on the backfield, just bounced around from field to field and was able to do that, which was good. Did catching drills. He's going to do that again this morning, as well as run the bases, and then hit in the backfield games again. The hope is we have the off day, that maybe like a DH on the 17th and then catching on the 18th, depending on how his body responds to the next few days. But that's kind of what we're shooting for. Urias with the discomfort, kind of more of the top area of that elbow was from swings. Only discomfort was with swings, not throwing or anything else. So we're progressing him back into games. Our hope is it's similar to Herrera, like by the 18th, he's back in games, but he's hitting and doing everything right now. Yeah.
Anything new on Newport?
I mean, that's going to be a progression that takes him through having to do his run progression sprint. I mean, so nothing meaningful to update there just yet.
You got a week left to go. Will he stay here?
I'm not sure what the plan is there just yet.
Okay.
As far as if he's going to continue to do his stuff here or
go to St. Louis.
In St. Louis.
Okay. I didn't know if a part of his recovery is tack, his equipment, so I didn't know if there's
correct. Yeah.
And you got Libby going back there and Fitz in the stadium.
Yeah, you got Libby has 6 on backfield. Fitz has 5 in the stadium. So,
and what have you seen from Fitz so far?
It's been good. Advertised? Yeah, everything coming out of hand really well. His utilization of both fastballs is going to be important. But as far as what's coming out of the hand and how he feels, we're in a really, really good spot. Yeah.
The plan for Fitz to do all 5 in the game, I just asked because I saw there was like 5 relievers that were on the docket. I don't know if Fitz might.
In the game. Yeah. Yeah. And then we'll figure out the relievers based on having the backfields as well.
How do you choose who goes where on that?
From the relievers?
No, from the starters.
From the starters?
Yeah.
Wanted to see Fitz in the stadium.
Okay.
Yeah, I just get to choose.
Okay. That's good. Same thing on when you come back from the off day, right? You're going to have a similar situation because
May and McGreevy. Yes. Not sure what I decided with Dusty on that one just yet.
Okay. Yeah.
I know we made a decision, but I can't remember.
Is everything okay with Dustin May? I only asked because yesterday he was slated to pitch Tuesday. It was in the notes yesterday. So I was just.
That's incorrect.
Okay.
Or Tuesday.
No, that's right.
That's right.
That's
Monday's
right.
off.
He's pitching Tuesday.
He is pitching Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that is correct.
Just TBD location.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
Yeah, whether it's in the stadium or the backfield. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
yeah. When you get back from the off day, he's the guy.
Yes, I've been a day off for the last 5 days.
It happens. Down to Miami, late night. Not the first person to go there.
Yeah.
Jordan is what Jordan Walker doing? Is he doing backfield stuff?
Backfield stuff, mainly in the lab for the last 3 days. His first day back in the lineup will be when we get back from this off day. So we wanted to take about 3 days of just head down, working on stuff, and then see if we can carry it into a game after the off day.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So no ABs in the game there?
Mainly our focus has been his work in the cage.
Gotcha. Can you elaborate on the idea there?
Take the 3 days of not trying to practice something and put it in the game immediately, but allow it time to really dive deep into where we're at and what truly needs to happen. Give him that little bit of a break to be able to just focus on that and not having to carry it into the game, in hopes that we can just the attention be there, and then give him a date of when he's back in the lineup to try to implement it. So him and Brownie and BA and that entire group and KC felt pretty adamant about it, so we accommodated it.
What's next for Dobbins?
Dobbins threw his 5 yesterday and looked really, really good. He will start on the IL for the season, and we'll continue the progression. His next time out, he gets to field his position off the mound. But that's the way we're looking to open up.
Can you say the same thing about Lars at this point? Just the nature of the calendar.
I've had a conversation as to being able to publicly say the Dobbins one.
Okay.
All right, so there you have it. So Hunter Dobbins is going to start on the IL, but he wasn't ready to make that official with Lars Nootbaar just yet. I think really the important stuff there, again, this is just moments ago here in Jupiter, is the plan for Jordan Walker, that they are pulling Walker out of games and having him work in the hitting lab for the next few days. They're having a full off day. Everybody is off tomorrow. They will go dark here and then get back at it on Tuesday. And at that point, Walker is expected to be back in games. So today, no at-bats on the backfields or in the stadium. He is working with, and you mentioned, he mentioned Brandon Allen, Brant Brown. The Cardinals hitting coaches were adamant that this was the right thing for Jordan Walker to get back to working, and not in the middle of a game, but working in the cages, in the hitting lab, on what he is seeing, what his swing looks like before they get him back there. We'll get some reaction from Bernie Miklasz coming up next, and we'll also discuss the Cardinals at length with Bernie. This is Sports on a Sunday Morning, coming to you from Jupiter, Florida. Cardinal spring training from our Stiefel Sports Studio, and we'll be right back.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part, they accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
Cardinals single-game tickets are now on sale for the 2026 season. The schedule delivers big-time matchups, including weekend series against the Cubs and Dodgers, and visits from the Boston Red Sox. Add in a promotions calendar stacked with fan favorites like all-new giveaways, a Hawaiian short and shirt set, golf-inspired hat, dark mode jersey, and a whole lot more. It's Busch Stadium at its best all season long. Lock in your seats today at Cardinals.com.
There's nothing like hearing your friends and family clearly. A grandchild's laugh, conversation with a friend, or the punchline to a joke. Charlie Brennan here with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler and her team understand that hearing is personal. That's why you'll always work with certified audiologists like Adam Voss, Bailey Campbell, and Dr. Colleen Bosler.
That's right, Charlie. We offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so our recommendations are based on what fits you best. With us, we follow best practice fitting methods to ensure your hearing aids are programmed precisely for your unique hearing needs. But our care doesn't end when you walk out the door. As we know, hearing aids require continued support, adjustments, and maintenance, and we offer these services at no extra cost to you. Because better hearing isn't just about devices, it's about reconnecting to the moments that matter most. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenter.stl.com.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and I see more clearly thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Make your appointment today at 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Bernie Miklasz on KMOX is sponsored by Stewart's American Mortgage, home of the Bagel Loan, and by Salika Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. Lauren says we can't see you. You can see me now, Lauren. I wasn't able to get on camera because I literally raced in here in the middle of Ollie Marmol's press conference to get you the information that you need, that you deserve as Cardinals fans. On this fine program, Sports on a Sunday morning, live from Jupiter, we're joined now by Bernie Miklasz, who joins us from St. Louis. Hello, Bernie.
Hey, what's going on, Aki, man? You needed to grab Ollie and just say, heck with this. Come on, come over here and sit down. You don't have to coach.
I actually stood
team.
up and I said, hey, I said, I have to go do a radio show. He goes, okay, yeah. He was about wrapped up anyway, but I almost just grabbed him like, come on, dude, let's go. Don't
Get worry about managing. Yeah, who cares? Managing doesn't matter.
Yeah, who cares? This is all about KMOX. Always Sports on a Sunday morning. Forget the team for a minute. No, he's been very accommodating down here as always. And as always, Bernie, and he announced that he's coming back to the Gas House Gang. He loves the direct questions. He loves to talk both on and off the record, quite honestly, about the club, because I think he wants people to be informed. I sense, before we get into the newsy stuff here, just an Ollie thing here, is that I sense a refreshed Ollie Marmol, and I also sense somebody who really wants and feels the freedom right now to have collaboration with his team. For example, he wants everybody involved and associated with the club to be together. So there's an area where you can grab some food and drink. He wants people to see each other, know each other. He wants transparency, honestly. He wants conversations taking place because he wants the fans to understand this team better from a human standpoint.
Listen, I let me preface this by saying I understand, like, if there are fans who say, well, nobody cares about how they talk to the media. Okay, I get that. I'm not going to criticize fans for thinking that, but actually, for the Cardinals standpoint, it's very important because there has been a really disappointing lack of transparency for way too long. Chaim Bloom came in here and he's basically like, everything I'm thinking, everything the fans are thinking, everything the media's thinking, everything anybody wants to ask me, I'm happy to answer the question. I believe I owe it to the fans to be as forthcoming and transparent as I possibly can and be as accessible as I can. Ollie feels the same way. Ollie's always felt that way, but he's taken it to the next level. I really doubt that any time, and I'm talking about even when the Cardinals were great, I don't think that there's ever been a time where they have been more open and accessible and transparent in terms of dealing with the public, which includes the media.
I agree. Tony was very good. Tony
Yes.
was very, very good at taking you behind closed doors. He did it with me often as a young post-game host, telling me that, Tom, people need to know what's going on, and you're the window to the fans. So I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to tell you really what's going on, and we're going to talk on and off the record so you understand. And I learned a lot of baseball from Tony, and I appreciated that. But even Tony, there was just in general, the old school, there was a line between kind of, what you needed to know, et cetera. And he was really good with this. I don't want to say that's not, but I feel like we're getting maybe a little more of a peek behind the curtain than ever before, and collaboration. And it's our job to get that to the fans ASAP. And Chaim, who you're going to hear from at 11:30, is always that way with us. So it's really good. Let me tell you, Bernie, let me have you react just to some news that we just learned a few moments ago. I think the biggest one of all, and I mentioned Hunter Dobbins is going on the IL. They're not ready to officially put Lars Nootbaar on the IL just yet or announce that until the more conversations, but that Jordan Walker is going to work in a hitting lab. I noted that he was not in the lineup again today, and nor is he going to take at bats in the minor league game on the backfields. He's going to work, and this was a hitting coach question. They thought that this was really important for him. So Ollie and staff are going to accommodate that. He's going to be working in the cages for the next few days, Bernie.
Well, I'm not surprised, and I actually commend everybody involved, including Jordan Walker, for realizing that something is drastically wrong, and this is not going. Spring has not gone even remotely close to what Jordan Walker and the Cardinals were hoping for. It's been the exact opposite. But there's two ways to deal with this. You can pretend everything's fine. Like Jordan Walker was doing it the other day, and I'm not being critical. I'm just statement of fact. I think in an interview he talked to MLB.com or something. He's just like, no, everything's good, man. I'm having problems with my timing. I got to get timed up, and I'm close. I feel it. I feel good about myself. So you can either sort of take that tact, and then if you really believe that, then frankly, you're not going to get better. Or you can just say, hey, something's not working. A lot's not working. Something is broken. And we have to take some steps to try to make it better, even if it means taking him out of live action. So they're owning up to the reality that Jordan Walker is still broken. And what they can do, if anything, about it this late in spring training, I don't know. But I at least like the fact that they are squaring up to reality rather than kind of like happy talk their way through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I watched him the other day at the plate. His body language was like non-existent. I mean, he was like a statue. And
right.
I saw Nolan Gorman standing at third, ready to come home. I mean, I'm taking the biggest rip I possibly can just to show everybody and the pitcher that I'm Jordan Walker, man. I'm 6'6", 260 pounds. I'm 23 years old. I'm a big time athlete, and I'm going to hammer this ball over the wall. Just like presenting that. Maybe that's just not in his personality, but that was my observation. And, that's one thing, the approach at the plate. The other is, what do you do not chasing this pitch and not chasing that pitch?
He has no confidence, and that's what's so obvious in his body language. He's down on himself, and confidence has been a big challenge for Jordan Walker, and that's really hard for any athlete. If you don't have confidence, man, it's hard to be anything. You're not going to be good. I mean, it's just really, really hard to pile that up on everything else. But if you just look at this, and let me just throw this out here really quick, and this is simple stuff to understand. But I want people to know, just how extreme the problem is. First of all, his chase rate, swinging at pitches out of a strike zone this spring, is 40%. I mean, he's never, like in the regular season, he's never been anywhere close to that. 40% he chases the ball out of the strike zone. So his, the situation where first of all, you're getting yourself out by doing that. So it also has led to a 34.5% strikeout rate. He has a 68% ground ball rate. And according to the fan graphs, the balls that Jordan Walker has put in play this spring in games, 93% of the balls in play have been either a grounder or a pop fly to the infield. I mean, I'm not trying to pile on when I say this. I'm just making an obvious point. I actually can't imagine that you could do any worse than that. I mean, that's how severe this thing is, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you have some options if you're the Cardinals. You have Nelson Velasquez, he's starting in left today. You have Nathan Church, he's starting in right today. You have Thomas Sajaci, if they could ever get him out of the WBC, can play in the outfield. You do have some options, but it is rather thin, and Jordan Walker would be a great fit, obviously, in right field if he was Jordan Walker with all those expectations back when he was a first-round pick, but it's not happening. Bernie, where do you see decisions coming here in this final week? I just mentioned a couple of them. Velasquez, Sajaci, Church. Let's look at those three in particular. Do they all make the team? Do you see one of them not, or will there be any surprises here down the stretch?
Velasquez has got to be on the team. And some comments made yesterday by Ali Marmol, basically signaled that, because Ali Marmol couldn't be happier with what he has seen from Nelson Velasquez. And, in February, the first few games, he didn't get much done, but he's been terrific ever since. So he has done nothing to warrant not starting in left field, or at least being very, very busy early in the season for the Cardinals. They brought him in to earn a job, and so whatever he had to do to earn a job, he's done. That's number one. Number two, and I don't have to tell you this because you talk to Chaim Bloom all the time, the Cardinals and Chaim Bloom love Nathan Church, because he can play all three outfield positions. He's fast. He can steal bases. He's really good defensively in all three spots. And they also believe, and they're confident, and Nathan Church's minor league numbers and the way he grew down there and got better and better and better, they back this up. They believe he will hit. He will be a good hitter in the big leagues. You can't really take what you saw late last season. He was jumpy. He was anxious. He looked like a guy in the big leagues for the first time. So Nathan Church is safe and secure. He may even, as you alluded to, he may even be in the starting lineup come opening day. I think with Sajaci, I assume that Jose Fermin's going to be on the club. I know he hasn't had the best spring in terms of offensive numbers, but he's looked great defensively in the outfield, and that's what they were really looking for because they know he can hit. I think the question with Sajaci is he missed so much time because of the World Baseball Classic. And listen, I'm not dogging him for doing that. But the fact is, he's had, 7 at-bats for the Cardinals this spring? And it just hasn't been enough time to maybe get completely ready for the regular season. And he hasn't played all that much for Italy either. So I wouldn't be surprised at all I wouldn't be surprised if he opens the season at AAA Memphis, not because they're down on him, but they want him to be able to play every day and get those at-bats that he's missed the last 2 or 3 weeks. You see what I'm saying? What do you think about that?
100%. Absolutely. That's what I think is going to happen. I have to see Sajaci. I haven't even seen him.
Right.
I've been here for a week. I haven't seen him once because he's with the WBC. Italy wins again. So, he's still with them, and that is what it is. I mean, DS Bill says just promote Baez. That's not happening. They're going to they want Baez to play in AAA. He's not going to play every day here. He's awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. If somebody asked me the most positive things about camp, I think the pitching has been just impressive top to bottom. Baez was the star of camp. Velasquez was kind of the unexpected pleasant surprise. Gorman's maturity and dramatically improved plate discipline has been a positive. But, I have to say one of the things that is troublesome to me, and I think that's when you were talking about what do you think is going to happen, this and that, I think the fact that Ivan Herrera has not really been visible. I know he's been working behind the scenes, but he hasn't really been able to catch because of the knee inflammation. He hasn't been able to get a lot of at-bats, although I agree with what Ali Marmol says. Herrera could be out for 2 months, and his first game back, he'll go 3 for 4 with a home run and a double. But I wonder whether it'll make sense to have him open the season on the IL if this thing doesn't improve here in the next 10 days or so. So I'm curious as to what they'll do with him. They may ride it out with him, but I would be surprised if he's going to be able to do any real catching early in the schedule. But I don't mean to be like pessimistic. It's just pragmatic. He just hasn't had a chance to get behind the plate very much at all.
Yeah. I think they're going to try it this coming week and see. I did see Herrera going into the clubhouse today. I said, "Hey, big fella, how you doing?" And he said, "I'm doing much better." He said he's feeling good. So we'll see if he can take some rips. And if not, today's lineup could very well be your opening day lineup. Weatherholt, Wynn, Burleson, Gorman at DH, Velasquez in left, Fermin at third, Church in right, Pajes behind the plate, Scott in center. I could absolutely see that on March 26th.
I could too. And I tell you what, you know me, man, I'm always keeping an open mind on things. When it comes to Victor Scott, we all have been talking about, boy, he needs to hit more, he needs to do this. He really just has got to ratchet up his offense. He's got so much game defensively and as a base stealer, and the way he runs the bases. He also works incredibly hard, takes a lot of pride in what he does. But I really like it when I say things and that there's information out there that basically tells me I was incorrect about something. And let me explain to you. So in other words, I have no problem admitting I got that wrong. I've been very pessimistic about Victor Scott because he has in the majors up until now had very slow bat speed, and that's really hard to overcome. But to his credit, with all the work he's done, that has changed. His bat speed has actually increased in a really impressive way. And so now I think he's more capable of having that offensive surge, especially with the work he has put in. So it just shows you, man, don't assume things. Always look for more information. That's why basically I am crazy, because I never stop looking for information.
I love it. That's the name of the game. I love that we went all baseball. We went absolutely nuts. We went all baseball in this segment, but don't you worry, folks, because Jerry Palm is coming up next to talk some hoops. I don't mess around. I get the best one in the business, the best bracketologist, in my opinion. Jerry Palm coming up next. Bernie, have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you.
And always love talking ball with you, Tom. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Bernie Miklasz with us on KMOX's Sports on a Sunday Morning. We'll come back, and we will have Jerry Palm, the bracketologist formerly with CBS, now with palmbrackets.com. Bernie's visit sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling and Stewart's American Mortgage. Back after this.
What a beautiful spring. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma from Gamma Tree Experts. When it comes to tree care, don't let a rookie with a chainsaw pinch hit for you. Always lead off with the pros from Gamma Tree Experts. Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your valuable trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation for 60 years. For pruning, fertilization, or removal, call today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Hey, guys, this is Kevin Wheeler, and there's a lot of college basketball going on right now with the FanDuel Sportsbook, which is the official sportsbook of KMOX. You can make all of that madness even more fun for yourself because FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single day through March 15th. So from now until that final 68 is revealed, you're getting daily profit boosts for a chance at boosted winnings on your college basketball bets. And you don't want to miss this because it's every single day. You can build same-game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout, try live betting and jump in after the opening tip. And best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. It's that simple. So to get started, just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri and get it rolling and get yourself into the fun before things get really going here in a couple of weeks. Remember, you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. Opt-in is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens, and restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. You can see terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday. Let's do this Monday. ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
Discover how you can make unforgettable memories with a home equity line of credit from Royal Banks of Missouri. Whether you're dreaming of a winter family getaway, planning your next home renovation project, or considering an investment in your education goals, a home equity line of credit is a flexible and convenient option to fund life's most memorable moments on your schedule. Our local bankers are here to help you achieve your short and long-term financial goals. Call 314-212-1500. That's 314-212-1500. Visit us online at royalbanksofmo.com or stop by a Royal Banks location near you. For more details on how you can tap into your home's equity and get the most out of its current value. Investing in our communities, one client at a time. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
All right, we're getting after it here in Jupiter, Florida. Ollie Marmol, Cardinals manager. You heard from him right out of the gate. Bernie Miklasz joined us last segment. Now we get to talk some college basketball with my friend Jerry Palm, palmbrackets.com, formerly with CBS. In my opinion, the best in the business, and that's why we have him every Selection Sunday. What's up, Jerry?
Hey, how's it going?
Going great. All right, let's get right to it because I spot SLU, Illinois, and Mizzou all in your bracket, and I want to start with SLU, and then I'm going to get to the really juicy stuff about St. Louis and hosting. Let's start with SLU. I see them as a 10. I thought that might be what you do there. A 7-10 game against St. Mary's in Oklahoma City. Probably the right spot for them after losing to Dayton, Jerry.
Yeah, I think there's a non-zero chance that they get left out, but I just think this field is it's not a great resume, but we have a lot of not so great resumes, and there certainly isn't among the worst, but there are years where they would have had a more nervous Selection Sunday than I think they're going to have.
All right, so Missouri fans are a little nervous here. They want to make sure this team is in. I think 10 SEC wins gets you in, and you agree. But with a caveat, you have them in the first four against SMU. Winner goes to St. Louis with a possibility of a second-round game against Illinois. That is pretty amazing.
I've never looked ahead in the bracket, so I didn't even see that. You could possibly have the Illinois Mizzou game in St. Louis.
Yeah, round two.
Well, now I'm rooting for that. Mizzou's got a strange profile because their net is pretty bad. 58. I mean, it's not the kind of thing where they'd automatically let you out. Their wins above bubble, which is more important to being selected, is 41, and that's a bit on the outer range of what that is, but. Florida, Vanderbilt, at Kentucky, they've got a lot of nice wins. Really, I mean, the loss that stands out as a bit of an eyesore is Notre Dame because that's just not a good team. At Ole Miss, at LSU, those are conference teams. But at Notre Dame is the one that if they actually did get left out is the one that they'd probably regret the most.
Yeah, I think beating Florida really helped them kind of get back on the radar early in the conference season for sure. You would have them playing Tennessee if they get by SMU, and then Illinois against Wright State in the first round, and bragging rights part 2 in the second round of the NCAA tournament would be awesome. While we're talking St. Louis, Iowa State, I am tempted to have them go all the way. I think they're tremendous. You have them in St. Louis against Tennessee State, UCLA, and Santa Clara in the other one, Jerry.
Yeah, Iowa State is excellent. I mean, I was watching when they tore up Purdue in the second half back in December, or maybe even November, and that was a really impressive performance. I've watched them several times this year. They're a good defensive team. They can score, and the kind of things that you expect from a team that's going to be seeded at that level. And that's a team that's good enough. I don't know about get to the Final Four because I think so much of the one seeds. That looks like a wall that's going to be really difficult to penetrate. But if somebody can, Iowa State would be on the list of teams that could do it.
Yeah, in your Midwest region, you have Michigan as the one. If it was anybody else, I might take Iowa State. But boy, Michigan looks like the best team in the country right now. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Also in that Midwest,
Duke, right?
Right. Duke, who wins the ACC, and Michigan playing Purdue today for the Big Ten tournament title. Also in that Midwest, you have Miami of Ohio getting in still, even with the one MAC tournament loss, as a first four team, and 11, they'd have to beat Texas to get to play Louisville. A tough couple of games there, but I think that's fair. I mean, they're in, but they're going to have to show everybody that they can beat a big team.
Yeah, and of course they didn't get to do it in the regular season. Their best win was Akron or Wright State. Take your pick. It's the worst schedule by far, but like by more than 100 spots in strength of schedule ranking of any at-large team ever. The predictive metrics they're in the 80s and 90s. There are so many massive negatives on Miami's resume that any other year, and maybe except last year, they wouldn't get the time of day. They just wouldn't. And now that wins above bubble is on the resume, and it's a metric that the committee likes to favor in terms of selections. In particular, they're in the upper 30s. I want to say 39. So that's probably what gets them in, and they'll be the first team to get in on wins above bubble alone, because that's other than that and a gaudy record is really all they have.
The other ones you have in the West, Arizona as the 1, and the 2 in that bracket is Michigan State, Gonzaga the 3, and Arkansas the 4. In Houston, actually, let me skip to Washington real quick because I'm going to ask you about the Houston one. Washington, you have Duke as the 1 with UConn 2, Illinois 3, Alabama as the 4. And then you have Houston, that region, Florida as the 1 seed, with the 2 being Houston, and the 3 Purdue, with Nebraska as the 4. Florida gets trounced in the semifinals of the SEC tournament by Vanderbilt, but I'm guessing based on their incredible run through February and even before that, that was enough for you to keep them as a 1.
Yeah, that's only their second loss since January 3rd. So they ran roughshod through the SEC. And the funny thing is the other loss was home to Auburn. At home to Auburn, of all things. But yeah, they've run roughshod through the SEC. And obviously that's a really good league. So, when you're running roughshod through it, you're picking up a lot of quality wins. And they would have been in some doubt for that fourth number 1 had Houston or UConn won. But those were the 2 teams closest to them in my bracket, and they both lost. So there wasn't another team up there good enough to knock them off that line.
Anything else in here, Jerry, of note, maybe something that you sort of wrestled with? Or I think right now at this point, isn't the bracket pretty much set and by the committee, and then they just sort of tweak it today?
Yeah, yes. So there's 5 conference championship games that they have to account for one way or another. And they have created alternate brackets for potential outcomes. I think if Purdue were to win today, they'd have a chance to move up to a 2. Michigan's still going to be a 1. They've been that dominant that they don't have to worry about what Michigan does. They're going to be a 1 seed in the Midwest region. The nice thing about these 4 number 1s, they're geographically different. So everybody's got a home region. It doesn't matter what order they're in, they're still going to get their home region. But yeah, so that's the kind of thing that they have to account for. They have to account for the A10 result. in particular because, is VCU an at-large team if they lose, or who else gets knocked out? Those are the kinds of things they have. They have however many brackets they need to account for all of the possible results today in terms of the 5 games that are being played.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. We appreciate this very much. Again, if you want to look at this projected bracket that we just talked about, it was updated a little while ago, earlier this morning by Jerry Palm, palmbrackets.com, palmbrackets.com. College basketball coverage by Jerry Palm. We always appreciate you, my friend.
All right, thanks.
Thank you so much. Jerry Palm joining us on KMOX on a busy day, Selection Sunday. We'll take a break. Nobody told the Blues that their season was over. They suddenly have gone on a tear. I guess nobody told them also that they could get a very, very high draft pick because they are ripping off wins left and right. Andy Strickland will talk some hockey with us next from Jupiter, Florida. I'm Tom Ackerman. You're listening to Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX from the Stifel Sports Studio.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
St. Louis's unofficial holiday is almost here. It's Cardinals opening day, Thursday, March 26th. And KMOX's Takes and Eggs, presented by Budweiser, is back. This year with a new twist. You don't need a ticket to enjoy KMOX's live broadcast at Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village, featuring Cardinals alumni, front office personnel, special guests, and so much more. First come, first served. Doors open at 9 a.m. Celebrate opening day with dirt cheap Budweiser and Rally House. More info at KMOX.com/events.
Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate. Evans is a proven fighter and the only candidate for U.S. Senate with guts and know-how to get the job done. As an attorney, she took on China and corporate criminals. Jeannie Evans won billions for working families. As senator, Evans will fight and win for you. She'll work to cut taxes and lower the cost of living. Evans believes that keeping Illinois safe will take more than just wishful thinking. It takes courage, and Jeannie Evans has the record to prove it. Evans will always be tough on crime. She'll hold China accountable for trafficking fentanyl and stealing our personal data. Jeannie Evans puts America first. A proven fighter. Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate.
I'm Jeannie Evans, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Jeannie for Illinois.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. The American dream is owning your own home, especially a brand new McKelvey home. This will be your last chance to take advantage of the tremendous savings of the 6 remaining market-ready homes or our luxurious Madison display at Summerlin and O'Fallon. Also get special 4.99% fixed 30-year financing. Talk to Stephen Bonfani on how you can qualify for this great offer. Visit McKelveyHomes.com. It's time to move up to McKelvey.
My car smells fresh, so fresh, always so fresh every day. My car smells fresh, so fresh, like I cleaned it yesterday. Got the Febreze car on the vents, living life with that just clean freshness. Febreze car, if you know, you know. Up to 40 days a cent on low. My car smells fresh, so fresh, always so fresh every day. My car smells fresh, so fresh, like I cleaned it yesterday. That's right, breathe happy Febreze, la 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 la.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it Fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
We're back at it here in Jupiter, Florida. We're having a good time with it. Drew texts in, I've seen Gorman and Walker. I'm ready to see Crooks, Ledbetter, Church, and Baez. You're not alone, Drew. I think Church is going to make this team. The other three will get a little seasoning before they make it up. If you want to text in, you can do it at 314-436-7900. Drew Young, our producer, will get those. You can also comment on our fine streaming platforms of X and Facebook and YouTube. And joining us right now is Andy Strickland. He has been doing Blues coverage for as long as I can remember, almost as long as I've been at KMOX. A great job on the television side, and the Blues suddenly are in the playoff race here, or at least on the outside of it. They visit Winnipeg today at 2:00. Hello, Strick.
The heat is on, Aki. The heat is on.
What the heck is going on here? Don't these guys know this season's over? It's been fun. Ryan Schulte, our engineer, and I watched the overtime winner, Robert Thomas, when they beat the Edmonton Oilers the other night. The Blues have, hey, look, I'll say this, whatever happens at the end of this season, they have been entertaining.
Yeah, they have been. It truly is March Madness on the hockey side right now when you look at St. Louis over the course of the last couple of years. I mean, what they did last year in March and now doing it again this season. This is kind of who you thought that they would be coming into the year, although they made some changes, obviously, around the trade deadline and moved a couple of veteran guys out. And now it's giving an opportunity to get some young guys some opportunities to get some experience, and they're taking advantage of it. But, you know, they're being led right now by Robert Thomas. The combination of him goaltending, he's establishing some chemistry with Jimmy Snuggerud, Dylan Holloway on that line. They're defending at a much higher level than what we saw earlier this season. But when your goaltending plays as well as they've been playing, Aki, you're going to be in games. And I know the fans, they look at the potential of getting a top 3 pick or the first overall pick and they want you to lose. It's so difficult to tank, and it's so hard to get a top 3 pick. And I think we're seeing that right now. I mean, it's almost impossible to tank. And I know people use that word maybe a little bit loosely. But when you have this level of goaltending, it's hard to do. So you're not going to convince Jordan Binnington and Joel Hofer to just go in there and lose, nor are you going to do that with the coaching staff and the rest of the players on that team. So they're going to give it their best shot. They got a great game this afternoon against Winnipeg. They're tied with Winnipeg in the standings. The Jets have one game in hand. They won a big game yesterday against Colorado at home. So we'll see what gives this afternoon in Winnipeg.
You're looking at the big picture, Andy. Is it? It's a long shot that they make the playoffs, but what do they have to do? I mean, they can't lose many. Have you done the math on that? They're 6 out of a playoff spot, 6 points out, but they'd have to jump over, as you mentioned. They're tied with Winnipeg, Nashville, LA, Seattle, and San Jose to get there.
Yeah, I know. So that's why it's going to be tough because of how many teams they have to jump over. But, you know, I was looking at their record last March. I think they went like 13-3 in their last 16 games in March or maybe during the course of March. And they had that 12-game winning streak. So it's going to take something like that. I mean, there's such a small margin for error. I think there's 16 games left in the season, if my math is correct. They've played 66 games. So, you know, 16 games left. They're going to have to at least match that and at least go 13-3 to give themselves a real opportunity. And you just wonder, a couple of these teams that are ahead of them, what's Nashville going to do? Are they going to fall off? Is Seattle going to fall off? Is San Jose going to be able to, you know, stay in the mix? And you know, those are the teams they're really chasing right now, in addition to being right there with Winnipeg, who's played some better hockey as of late. You know, but, you know, and San Jose won a big game last night, too. So that was a huge victory for them. Celebrating, had like 3 points in the game. He's unbelievable. So I just think you have to focus on what's in front of you and try to find a way to put up as many points as possible. And the reality is, this specific road trip they're on right now, and they've won like 5 consecutive games on the road. So their road record's been much better as of late. And that's what's really allowed them to climb back into it and be where they're at right now. but 3 winnable games when you look at Winnipeg this afternoon. Then they have a couple of days off before Calgary, who's below them in the standings, not a very good team. Vancouver next Saturday, below them in the standings, not a very good team. So these are the wins you're going to have, obviously before you head back home where you face some decent competition in Washington and then the Colorado Avalanche come to town before they face Toronto. So listen, I know everyone says one game at a time, but if you really look at it, this is a must-sweep road trip, in my opinion.
Yeah, no question. And then the next time that we have a long conversation about this, we'll see. But I'll be curious to hear your thoughts on Alex Steen taking over as GM and what that looks like. I mean, it's intriguing. I mean, there's some intrigue for sure about where this team's direction is going, much like I think what the Cardinals are trying to build here. But it seems like the Blues are a step ahead of them. Bernie was with us earlier. Jerry Palm was with us in the middle of the show, and Andy Strickland on the back end of this hour. I can't think of 3 better guys to talk about 3 different sports. Thank you, my friend. I really, really appreciate this.
Always a pleasure, Tommy. Have a great day. Enjoy Florida. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Andy Strickland from FanDuel Sports Network has done a phenomenal job as a host and reporter there. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Joe Roderick from the World Baseball Classic, Dan Reardon on the Players Championship, and Chaim Bloom, the Cardinals president of baseball operations, all in the 11 o'clock hour on KMOX.
All right, listen up. FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single day through March 15th. This is a really great deal. You're going to want to take advantage because from now until that final 68 is revealed, you're getting daily profit boosts for a chance at a bigger winning on your college basketball bets if they hit. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single day. Build a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout, or you can try live betting, and you can jump in after tip-off has already happened. Best of all, with FanDuel, you're going to get paid instantly when you win. Go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Okay, I have some really good news. Well, we do have the 0% a lot. We do have it on our regular products because you will be unbelievably shocked, especially if you call me and I'll give you the straight up scoop on how much money you can actually save by if you spent $20,000 versus $10,000 on a system. The difference could be as little as, I don't know, let's just say, not to exaggerate, 5 cents. So be careful out there, and always remember your energy savings is based on your house. It is not based on the equipment. So common sense advice and help and guidance. Again, call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest, 314-293-2600. Again, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, that is BartInman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to. Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
For original reporting, Peter King, 3 weeks into the Iranian war, Energy Secretary Chris Wright tells ABC's This Week that the U.S. attacks were and are justified.
For 47 years, Iran has threatened the Straits of Hormuz, has attacked its neighbors, has killed U.S. soldiers. Just imagine in Iran that's nuclear armed with a massive weapons arsenal to surround those nuclear weapons. This is why President Trump needed to act now.
The president has said Tehran wants a deal to end the war, but Iranian's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi says that's not true. There's no reason to talk with the U.S. about it since the U.S. attacked first. Appearing on CBS's Face the Nation, Araghchi claims Iran's counterattacks have been only aimed at U.S. interests.
We are only targeting American assets, American installations, American military bases. Everything belongs to America.
But Iranian missiles have been fired at many of its Arab neighbors and at Israel. Reem Grafat lives in the village of Zarzir. That's about 60 miles northeast of Tel Aviv.
Something fell from the heaven, from the sky, and then the strike hit the ground. Every building and every home, even the safe room was shaking.
Italy says an Iranian drone destroyed a drone hangar at a Kuwaiti airbase that's hosting U.S. and Italian forces, but nobody was hurt. William Shakespeare once wrote, "Beware the Ides of March for the betrayal of Julius Caesar." For people in the upper Midwest, the betrayal today comes from Mother Nature with a long stretch of blizzard warnings. National Weather Service meteorologist Mark Chenard.
Wide swath of like 1 to 2 feet looks likely, maybe from eastern South Dakota, mostly though Minnesota into Wisconsin and northern Michigan, generally in that 1 to 2 foot range. Some areas could get towards 3 feet. Most likely for that will be in the upper peninsula of Michigan.
Many places have had their St. Patrick's Day parades this weekend. A parade in Louisville, Kentucky has turned tragic. It's WLKY TV's Norman Seawright.
A woman's been killed in the St. Patrick's Day parade in the Highlands. She was walking in the parade when she fell and got caught under a float she was walking next to. She was then taken to U of L Hospital, where she died.
The fixture of a legendary rock band has died. CBS's Jerika Duncan.
Guitarist Phil Campbell was a member of Motorhead for more than 3 decades. Campbell's family says he died after surgery following a, quote, courageous battle. Phil Campbell was 64 years old.
There are 2 categories for March Madness announcements tonight. The Academy Awards being handed out in Hollywood, and the announcement of selections for the NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament, which starts Tuesday with 4 play-in games. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible?
Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60 Minutes.
At 11:03, it is mostly cloudy, a little bit of sun, and 67. That is our high today. Temperature's only going to go down. I'm Scott Jagow, and our top story is the cold front coming in tonight. It's going to be preceded by strong to severe storms.
AccuWeather meteorologist Carl Erickson expects the system to start moving in after 1 o'clock this afternoon.
No, and we're rapidly entering into the prime severe weather season, not only for much of Missouri, but a lot of the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and into the plains at this time of the year, and right through April and May, some of the more active time periods. And again, because you do have that transition of the seasons, you have more of that wind energy, but also you're starting to get more of that warm Gulf moisture streaming northward too to help fuel those storms. So all those ingredients come together to allow for this to be a very active time of the year.
Are we supposed to get some snow with this too, late night?
That's right. Believe it or not, as warm as it's going to be, also with that threat for severe weather, we're going to have still, as we mentioned, winter hanging on, temperatures plummeting. So we're going to go well up into the 60s before those storms arrive. The threat for severe weather likely diminishes very quickly. I think by 7, 8 o'clock, those storms are well off to our east.
Erickson says there could be a coating to an inch of snow, and that could make driving hazardous Monday morning. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Outgoing St. Louis County Executive Sam Page has reversed course on the idea of merging the city and the county. He was opposed to a merger, but now he supports it. Given the history of this issue, is it realistic? KMOX Republican analyst John Hancock says he does see a path to consolidation, but it's going to take some time.
You're going to have to slowly build a consensus that needs to happen. And I am marginally optimistic that it's going to happen within the next decade.
Democratic analyst Michael Kelly says financial circumstances may eventually force the city and county to join.
I'm hopeful that we're able to do it before we're a hospice patient. We're slipping towards that as the St. Louis region. So, who knows? Crisis sometimes is the best remedy. I'm hopeful and have my fingers crossed because I sure do love St. Louis and I'd like it to survive.
The history is daunting. The city and county became separate governments in the 1870s. Merger talks have come and gone many times since then. But Mayor Kara Spencer says she's open to discussions about it as well. Now your weather forecast.
KMOX AccuWeather this afternoon will be a breezy one with partial sunshine, high 64. Clouds increase, low 58 tonight. Heavy afternoon showers and storms tomorrow and windy, high 67. Some of those storms could be severe. Rain changes to snow tomorrow night, accumulates up to an inch. Cloudy, blustery Monday, high just 31. From the Salika Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm Bill Degger on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Thank you, Bill. Right now we have 67 degrees in St. Peter's, in Florissant, and downtown at the Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
From KMOX Sports, this is the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Now from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to Jupiter, Florida. We are here for another hour before we take you to Cardinal baseball at 12:05 for the first pitch from Richard Fitz. Just a little bit of a switch today as they go back to Fitz as the starter, and Matthew Liberatore is going to pitch on the backfields in a minor league game. He'll get 6 innings while Fitz will get 5, and then they have a collection of relievers that they want to see. They wanted to see Fitz in the stadium and see some relievers. Pouchard, Romero, Stanek, Blewett are among those. Jordan Walker getting some work in the cages, the hitting lab, if you will, working on some tech and trying to get his swing back with the instruction that they have here, the plethora of technology that they have here to work with him. They would rather do that than get him in games, according to the hitting instructors and Ollie Marmol, so that's what they're going to do. Some of the news here, Hunter Dobbins going on the IL to start the season. They're not ready to declare that for Lars Nootbaar. Ivan Herrera starting to work his way back, getting closer and closer to returning to game action, maybe as early as the middle of this week. But when it comes to sports, you've got college basketball going on. It's Selection Sunday. You have the Players' Championship. Dan Reardon's going to join us here shortly. We just had Andy Strickland on the Blues. City lost to LAFC last night. There's a lot happening. But I got to tell you, some of the biggest headlines right now, nationally and internationally, are going on just about an hour and a half or so south of here in Miami, where the World Baseball Classic tonight, a semifinal matchup of just some serious thunder in both lineups, the United States against the Dominican Republic. It'll start at 7 o'clock Central Time, and joining us covering things for KMOX and others, including STL Sports Central, is Joe Roderick. And Joe, it's great to catch up with you. As a matter of fact, this is the first time I'm telling you this, but I do believe I'll be back tonight to Lone Depot Park to take in tonight's contest. I was there for the Dominican Republic game against Venezuela. It was unbelievable. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I cannot wait for tonight's game. I have been, a huge fan of this Dominican Republic team, watching them on TV, and also seeing them rain into you there the other night to see that Venezuela-Dominican Republic game. And you and I both saw the atmosphere of that, and we've seen both the fan bases of these two teams. And going into tonight, I can't think of a better pitcher to watch face this Dominican Republic team than Paul Skeens. You have the best pitcher in the world taking on one of the most dangerous lineups ever assembled in the history of baseball in this Dominican Republic team. And it's going to be incredible tonight, because I was in Tokyo for the Pool C games and saw the atmosphere there, saw the crowd there, and how incredible the Asian fans were, and how loud they were and how energetic they were. And then you come here and you see the Latin American fans over here in the States, in Miami, and now you're going to bring in the U.S. fans, which it's been weird. And I know this has become a national story, Tom, with how passionate the teams were in Asia. Like, you saw players crying after games over there in Asia after they won or they lost. You see the players, you see the reactions to these home runs and these big plays here between Venezuela, Dominican, the Puerto Rican team down in Houston. And then you see the American team, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm done pitching. I'm going to go back to my team now. I don't really want to stick around anymore for this. Like, it's like the American team is bored with it or not taking it as seriously as all these other teams. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it firsthand in this environment tonight.
Yeah, they'll be in for a rude awakening tonight if they take this game not seriously. The Dominican Republic lineup is unbelievable, as you just mentioned, and Albert Pujols is one of the masters at figuring out pitchers, and I wonder how he'll have his team approach Paul Skeens tonight, if he makes him work out there so that he has a shorter stint in terms of innings, and then they just destroy the bullpen. Whatever the case may be, you got to be careful with every single hitter in this DR lineup. I guess you have to be careful with Italy, too. What the heck is going on there? I mean, how is this team doing what it's doing? Joe, they're 5-0 in the WBC.
They have, I mean, you look at their team, and this is, people want to rip on some of the way these teams are put together with players not being born in those countries or not not having the heritage, if you will, for some of these. But all these players have Italian ancestry, and I think the biggest thing is you have a group of players that might not be the best players in baseball. Like, I don't think there's a whole lot of, Thomas Saggese was hitting second for them. He's going to be fighting for a starting position with his major league team. You have other guys on that team that are solidified in their team's lineup, but they're not the best of the best. They might not be MLB all-stars, but they are out there. They're hungry. And I think, too, and I've been saying this since the beginning, if you look at some of these teams' coaching staffs and see some of the legends that they have on their coaching staffs, I think that helps a lot too. And you look at the Team Italy for what they have. I mean, you have Jorge Posada on their bench, one of the most decorated catchers of all time, along with a bunch of guys that played in the major leagues for a long time, who are able to motivate these guys and able to get them ready for these games. And that was one of my things too with the Venezuelan team, that the path that they took to get to the semifinals was a tough one, but it's another case of, I think if you look at like their coaching staff and you look at some of the guys they have in that dugout, that makes them a dangerous team in this.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Any other, before we go, Joe, observations that you've been wearing that KMOX credential, and we love our collaboration with STL Sports Central here, and I know that people can see a lot of your content on Twitter, but any other observations that jump out at you? I think one that got a lot of play was all of those people that kept coming in and out of the Dominican Republic dugout. I'm wondering what the buzz is about the future of this, and quite honestly, the future of baseball. I think this opens your eyes as to what an international game this is, that it has expanded worldwide.
I think you see these teams, these players that have this pride for their country that are making this into a big deal for them. And I think that was a big thing with Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic didn't even make it to the quarterfinals 3 years ago. They got knocked out in pool play. And I think for a lot of those guys, they went out and they're like, okay, we're going to take this seriously. And I have a feeling that's going to happen with Japan. Japan had their worst showing. Japan had never been eliminated before the semifinals until last night. And I think if you look at Japan's head coach or manager, stepped down immediately after the game. Like he was one and done with that. And I think if you look at a lot of the Japanese players that aren't here, you look at the pitching staff, Ohtani didn't pitch. They didn't have Roki Sasaki. They didn't have Imanaga. Like a lot of their pitchers weren't available in this. And I think like Japan's going to be a team that's going to come back whenever this tournament returns again, and they're going to take it more seriously. And I hope the same thing happens for the U.S. And I do think that you see that out of teams like Venezuela and Dominican Republic, who are taking this. Rodriguez came out and said the other day he'd rather win the World Baseball Classic than a World Series. So you get that in other countries. You're getting that from other countries that are taking this more seriously than they might be for their major league teams. And I hope the U.S. has that same approach, if not tonight and Tuesday, but in the future when they build the team again for the next run.
Yeah, it's a real thing. I mean, Ollie was there on Wednesday. I forgot to ask him. I had to duck out of his press conference to get on the air here, but I wanted to ask him if he's going again tonight. He said that every out in that Dominican Republic Venezuela game sounded like the last out of a game. That it was that loud. That you could see the passion not only in the fans but in the players themselves, how much they enjoy this, how they play for the fans. And my hope is that Major League Baseball, which there are some environments that get pretty cranked up, but that it's understood in St. Louis too, among Cardinals players, that when you're doing this for them. That's what the fans want. They want to know that you're doing this for them also. Yes, you're doing it for your family, for your career, but you're also doing it for them. And it creates that bond between player and fan. And I think that's really, really special. Joe, I can't wait for tonight. It does. I'd say I'm about 99% sure that I will be in the seats. I'm talking to a friend of mine who's in town who wants to take me to the game. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Chuck. So if that does indeed happen, I'll see you in the concourse again. I'll be right back where I was on Wednesday.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, I'm excited to see the U.S. team here and see how they compete with that Dominican team, because that Dominican lineup is just, it's so much fun to just look at on paper and then watch them hit 1 through 9. It's dangerous.
Thanks for all your stuff, Joe. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, Tom.
Joe Roderick with us from Miami at the World Baseball Classic, the United States and the Dominican Republic tonight at 7:00. We'll take a break and come back. We will have Dan Reardon. Oh, look at this text from texter, I guess the 207 says, why isn't the great Indiana alum Ackerman touting the great Indiana basketball team? Because it's not a great basketball team, texter. They are not good. They don't belong in the tournament. And if they do get in the tournament, I'll actually be disappointed because the committee will be wrong. They don't belong in it. They're not a legitimate Big Ten team, let alone NCAA tournament team. They need to redo their roster. That's why they hired Ryan Carr from the Pacers to be the executive director. Darren DeVries is a good coach, but he has maybe 2 or 3 Big Ten caliber players on a roster that is short on physicality, height, length, all the things that you need in that league. They do not belong in the NCAA tournament. Also, I will add, we are a football school. You should know that by now. Back in a moment. Sports on a Sunday morning from Jupiter on KMOX.
At Gray Bar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Gray Bar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
100 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors. A century of trust in St. Louis. Always look for the iconic red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for same-day repair service and no extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Trust your friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. Dr. Jean Wang, a WashU medicine gastroenterologist at Siteman Cancer Center.
Once you're 45 and over, even if you're not having symptoms or even if you don't have a family history, we recommend everyone get screened for colorectal cancer because everyone is at risk. Everyone is at risk, even if you're not having symptoms.
This is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and for more information, you can visit siteman.wustl.edu.
They say good things come to those who wait, unless you bite into a Hot Pocket right out of the microwave. Waiting to see a financial advisor about retirement could also bring some pain. The pain of watching your money evaporate in a stock market decline. The pain of trying to figure out Social Security and Medicare on your own. Or the pain of writing huge checks to the IRS that you really didn't have to. At the All Financial Group, they believe the more you know, the better decisions they can make. They offer a complimentary retirement assessment. Find out where you are, how you're doing, and if there's a way to improve your retirement outcome. Don't wait. Call the All Financial Group today, 636-230-8824, or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com and set up your complimentary retirement review.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Boy, we just run right through all sports, don't we, on this show? I mean, I wish we could get to everything at once. NASCAR, IndyCar, also running. We'll get closer to those races here in St. Louis and get more coverage opening up. And I know we had some people asking about City. They wanted to hear Corey Ray. We had him last week, but the same questions that I was going to ask him last week, I would have asked this week, the sporting director, about the lack of offense. They let Klaus go, and now they're trying to develop a new team, blah, blah, blah. He answered all that. And you can go back to last week's Sports on a Sunday Morning. They're kind of on repeat right now. They don't have much offense. They lost 2-0 at LAFC last night. Joining us right now is Dan Reardon, KMOX's senior golf editor, has been covering majors for years and years and years on KMOX. And, you know, I think the Players' Championship is worthy of being considered a major. It's not a major, but it is widely considered golf's fifth major. Hello, Dan Reardon, and good to be along with you.
Good morning, Tom. And I know that came up because the tour put out an ad talking about make March a major month, and that stirred a lot of controversy. I'm comfortable with the Players being the Players' Championship. That's what it was created for. That's what it needs to be. It doesn't need another category. We don't need more majors. We've got enough majors. It's enjoyable just the way it is, I think.
I agree, and I think that the four majors have a lot of history. I mean, you can't just bring a newcomer in after you've had four that have gone as long as they have, and there will be a time where we will talk about the Masters and the PGA Championship and the U.S. Open and the Open Championship. But for right now, we're talking about the Players' Championship, and we have a player, Dan Reardon, in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, at TPC Sawgrass, who has a 3-shot lead. His name is Ludwig Oberg. And I have thought for a while that he is the next big star on the, well, there's a few, but to me, he could be one of those who gobbles up some majors in the future.
I agree with you, Tom. And he still is young in his career, and this has not been a particularly good year for him. He has a couple of missed cuts and only one top 10. If he has a weakness, it's still the putter. He gives away strokes on the golf course. Yesterday, he had a really good clutch putting round, and hopefully that applies again today. But you mentioned the 3-stroke lead. I guess the thing, if I was caddying for Ludwig today, the first thing I would say to him on the first tee is, Ludwig, the last 2 weeks, Daniel Berger and Shane Lowry had 3-shot leads on the back 9, and they didn't win those championships. So I think he needs to approach this round like he's tied for the lead, not 3 shots in the lead. And this will be a very dangerous golf course today. It got that way yesterday. The weather has been pretty much the same. There's 10-mile-an-hour winds with a few wind gusts. And I read a player yesterday that said, when you make a mistake at this golf course, you're fighting to make bogey. And that's the danger of this golf course for Ludwig Oberg and the rest of the field as well. But the turnaround is there's always been a good round, at least every day this tournament. So that there's a little danger, but we'll see how he finishes.
Yeah, you got a guy that he knows very well, Michael Thorbjornsen, who's going to be in his playing group. They are neighbors, I do believe, and old college rivals. So he's 3 shots ahead of him, but look who's behind him. Cam Young, Matt Fitzpatrick, Brian Harmon, Victor Hovland, Justin Thomas, Corey Connors, Xander Schauffele. I mean, there's some big names in this top 10, Dan.
Yeah, great talents. And that's what I'm saying. If one of those players comes up and throws a 67 or a 68 at Oberg, then he's going to be challenged quite a bit through the finish of the round. And we all know that the hardest two holes on this golf course are typically 14, 17, and 18. 17 and 18 just because they're the finishing holes, and of course you have the water on 17. But there's a challenge to finish at the Players' Championship that you don't get at every tournament. It's a really strong finishing group of holes with an eagle opportunity thrown in on the 16th. I don't particularly care for the course, but I think it is a great course in terms of entertainment value. I think there's a lot of volatility on this golf course, and that makes for entertainment.
Well, it's interesting that you said that. I have never been there. I've always wanted to go there. You know, it's one of those courses that when you grow up, you hear about the island green and all of those things that make it unique. I'm curious moving forward here through this, where you see the Masters heading and who are your early favorites, because as soon as we flip the calendar here through college basketball, the Masters will be upon us very quickly. We're under a month away, Dan.
And the book on the Masters would typically be anybody who's contended or won at the Masters is on your A list. And Oberg has contended, certainly Scheffler, McIlroy. We don't know the injury status. He says he's fine. Those are the names you're going to get. And then you throw in a Schauffele and a variety of names. But the Masters is different from all the rest of them because even though they play at Sawgrass every year, that course changes every year and is very subject to weather. The Masters, it seems to be that players, once they learn how to play that golf course, they come back over and over again and contend. And I use as an example Fred Couples, who made the cut at age 60, Bernhard Langer, who beat Bryson DeChambeau head-to-head when he was in his mid-60s, Jack Nicklaus, who had a top 10 when he was 58. The Augusta National is, of course, you learn how to play. And once you learn how to play, unless you physically lose your game, you stay on that golf course and remain competitive. And by the way, one of the big questions is we have not seen Phil Mickelson play golf this year. And he is always at the Masters and quite honestly plays extremely well, even in his mid-50s. But we don't know what's going on with Phil, and we don't know for sure that he'll be in the field.
I got my first golf in yesterday. Very proud to say, played 9 holes here in Florida after the Cardinals game. So I teed off at about 4:45, got out there, hit the little pill around, felt pretty good about it. I mean, not bad for the first 9 holes of the year. It feels good to get out there. I want to be able to explore St. Louis and our golf courses as much as possible. And God willing, get a chance to take a peek at Belle Reve before they get things ready for the BMW Championship. It is always a fun time, I think. There's just a higher anticipation level in the St. Louis golf community when you have a big event coming. And make no mistake, Dan, that is a big event coming to St. Louis, the BMW Championship, part of the FedEx Cup playoffs.
Yeah, and the thought occurred to me, Brian Roloff had his press conference. He talked about only 4 of the top 10 metropolitan areas in the country are hosting golf tournaments at this year or currently. The difference is when the tour comes to St. Louis, they're the biggest fish in the pond. And that's what tour golf requires, being the biggest fish in the pond. And I guarantee you when the tour leaves St. Louis after the BMW Championship, the players will be talking about the way they were treated by the galleries, the reception they got from St. Louis, and they'll be asking the question, why don't we come here more often? And I think that St. Louis can take pride in the fact that they do that, but I think it also fits to the nature of golf. Out of those 6 major cities that don't have golf, they all had golf when Tiger was on tour, but they weren't golf communities. They were Tiger communities. And I think St. Louis has demonstrated that they can be a golf community.
It's very well said. Well, what's the latest at Normandy, Dan? You have any info on what they're doing there?
They're making a lot of progress, and I believe they will get open before the end of the year. They got a huge boost when Emerson gave them $7 million. I think the property is now going to be Normandy Golf Course at Emerson something or another. So they will be in the name of the property. But that money, they were going to finish it, but they weren't going to finish it promptly until they got this infusion of cash. And now they're moving at a rapid pace. And I'm curious to see, it looks to be quite a bit different than it used to be with all the trees being removed. I'm curious to see what we get as the final product.
Me too. Boy, do we punch above our weight when it comes to golf in this area. And of course, when you mention the BMW Championship, you have to mention the Stiefel Charity Classic, which is coming and is now a playoff event as well. We'll get into that as we get a little closer to it. Dan Reardon, love the conversation. Great talking golf with you, my friend. Have a great rest of your day.
I'll do so, Tom. And by the way, twilight golf is my favorite time. Let's get together.
I love twilight golf. It is the best. Thank you. Let's go play. I love to go play. Teeing off at 4, and it's still nice and light when you're coming in if you can play quickly. Good to visit with Dan Reardon, Tom Ackerman with you. We are in Jupiter, Florida. Boy, they know golf around here, and they play a lot of it. But when we come back, we're talking baseball. Chaim Bloom, the Cardinals president of baseball operations, with us from the Stiefel Sports Studio. Back after this.
What a beautiful spring. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma from Gamma Tree Experts. When it comes to tree care, don't let a rookie with a chainsaw pinch it for you. Always lead off with the pros from Gamma Tree Experts. Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your valuable trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation for 60 years. For pruning, fertilization, or removal, call today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service, Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
Larry Older here. One of the most rewarding parts of sharing Relief Factor with you is hearing real stories like that of Sandra. She tells us, I've been hearing about Relief Factor on the radio for a couple of years, and I finally decided to try it because nothing else was helping my back pain. I know the feeling. With a 3-week quick start, she said, I went for it. Now I feel like a new person. That's Sandra's own words, and it's so gratifying to hear. I've told you about my brother Kirk having difficulty going up and down the stairs in the morning. He wouldn't listen to me. I told him to take Relief Factor. He finally did. Began moving better, feeling stronger. Too bad he didn't listen earlier. Try it for yourself. The 3-week quick start. And see how Relief Factor could be your game changer too. It is only $19.95. Think about it. Do the math. Less than $1 a day. So call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800, the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com, all one word, relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
When it comes to your hearing, you deserve expert care. At the Audiology Center, you're treated by certified audiologists Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Adam Foss, and Dr. Bailey Campbell, meaning 8 years of advanced education, clinical expertise, and a commitment to best practices.
Charlie, we offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so you get what's best for you. Every patient receives individualized testing, precise fittings using real ear measurements, and personalized programming to ensure your hearing aids perform exactly as they should. And our care doesn't stop once you leave the office. We're committed to helping your hearing aids last through ongoing adjustments, maintenance, and long-term support at no extra cost. Better hearing is personal, not one size fits all. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com. And let's take that first step together.
If you need a new appliance, this is your sign. Shop at Lowe's now to get up to 35% off and next-day delivery on hundreds of major appliances. A new appliance now means an easier-to-do list later. Our best lineup is at Lowe's. Valid through 3/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Order by 4 p.m. Available Monday through Saturday. Subject to availability. Fees, exclusions, and restrictions apply. See Lowes.com/appliance delivery for more details.
Now, a St. Louis Cardinals spring training report. Sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens, and making memories. And by Happy Roof. We always create happy endings on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
As we continue sports on a Sunday morning, coming to you from Jupiter, Florida. We are at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium in our cozy KMOX studios. And joining us is the president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom. Chaim, thank you as always for doing this.
Yeah, we're getting used to doing this in person.
Yeah, it's very good. Maybe we'll bring you to our downtown studios, the Stiefel Sports Studio, I should say. But at any rate, Chaim, this has been a spring training. How would you define it to this point as we sit here on Sunday with a week to go before you break camp?
Yeah, it's been really encouraging. It's been fun. Like we talked about last week. Just fun to be around this group, fun to see them starting to take ownership of this thing and what it can be and what it can grow into. And on the field, there's been a lot of positives, a lot of, and so many positives that at this point in spring, we're counting the days, hoping we can get to the starting gate without anything going sideways on us. But it's been really good, fun to watch a lot of these arms come in, fun to watch, some of our young players, including some guys that aren't in big league camp and that get to make cameos here, do some cool things on the field. So overall, so many positives as we get ready for the season.
Let's start with the arms. The starting rotation, I think when a lot of people take a look at it, and again, we haven't seen this team play a big league game in the regular season yet. So far, it looks like an improved group in terms of consistency. Would you agree?
We're really happy with what we've seen so far. Like you said, this is spring training. We're still building up. And certainly sometimes you can see things in spring training, good or bad, that don't last into the season. So we got to be mindful of that. But these guys, for the most part, are where you would want them to be at this point. You think about someone like a Dustin May, who you're betting on some rebound to the stuff a year removed from, that fluke accident, really, and surgery that had to cut him open. And his stuff's been in really good order, and he's really leaning into parts of his repertoire that were not as widely used previously and showing the ability to use those. You look at some of the new guys, whether it's Fitz, who we've seen in big league games, Hunter Dobbins, who's been limited to backfield action so far because of, the rehab process with his knee. And both those guys, the arsenals, the stuff they're featuring is where you would want it to be. And the returning guys are all in a pretty good spot, showing the ability to use their stuff, the ability to pitch. So it's good. It's good to have options. It's good to be in a position where we might have some tough decisions to make down the stretch.
Is there a chance that you could go with a 6-man rotation? Does the schedule allow for something like that?
We always talk about that. Obviously, last year we did kind of a modified 6 where, Mats was bouncing back and forth. We do have more off days this April than we had last year. We get into a long stretch near the end of the month, but we do have more off days earlier in the month. And so you also have to be mindful of, you don't necessarily want to have guys pitching on day 7 too much, because that can kind of get them off kilter, and it can put some pressure on the bullpen there when you have that 6th starter. So these are the conversations we're having. I think with the amount of off days we have in April, I don't know that a true 6-man rotation is totally ideal, but also we know that as this thing unfolds, we're going to have to adapt and adjust. And when you get into a long stretch of games like we have at the end of the month, you want to make sure that you're not putting too much on guys too soon and giving them the extra rest that they need. So these are things we're going to work through, and we're just going to, as we have been, as we get closer to it, firm up how we map out the first few weeks.
From a bullpen standpoint, closer seems to be between Matt Swanson and maybe whoever else wants to take it. Or you could use a pair of closers, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's interesting because, it's not something that I've spent a ton of time to this point talking to Ollie about. And part of that is, I want him to be freed up to use those guys as he and Dusty and the staff see fit over the course of a game. I don't necessarily have a preconceived notion. I think you got to do what fits your personnel the best. I think the big thing, whether you have a traditional closer or you don't, if you're trying to shoehorn people into an approach that might not fit the group that you have, you're probably leaving some wins on the table. So you just want to see it be something where it's good. It fits the personnel that we have. And it's a little bit different than it was at the end of last year, obviously adding some experience and some high octane stuff and Stanek, but we like the group that's out there, and it really is going to be, something where you just want to line them up in a way that allows you to win the most games.
It does look like everybody's velocity is ticking up in that pen. Romero's is going up. Riley O'Brien issues 4 walks in a game recently, hits a batter, then comes roaring back with a great outing on Friday. That would have been encouraging too.
Yeah, all of this stuff. You talk about velocity in March, it makes me a little nervous, but you'd still rather see it than not see it, as long as guys are getting to it, not by overthrowing, but just by real clean mechanics and just by leveraging their bodies and moving in the way that they need to in order to generate that top end stuff. And, especially for Riley, who got a late start because of the calf, he's still got I think it's 3 outings under his belt, and that's it this spring. So it's nice to see that the stuff's in good order. Obviously the command should come as he gets a little bit more under his belt.
2 of your more experienced hitters are dealing with ailments. We all know about Lars Nootbaar. The other one would be Ivan Herrera. Is there anything new on Herrera that we can pass along?
No, he's progressing. He'll get back in there before the end of camp. Just has some knee irritation, and we're going to get him back into both DHing and catching, and progress progress him back into a catching workload before the end of camp. So as long as things go as they have gone, we should see him back in there soon, and he'll get a chance to get some at-bats and get a little bit of action behind the plate before we depart.
And then in terms of an experience here, Alec Burleson's just doing what he does. He looks great. Nolan Gorman, another home run yesterday. Gorman also has significantly reduced his strikeouts, it seems.
Yeah, again, encouraging signs. We know it's spring training, but he's showing a lot of the things that you want to see from him, the things that he will show you when he's going good. Power to all fields, strike zone judgment. Again, this is a guy that I think swing and miss is going to be part of his game, but also real power to every part of the ballpark is also a part of his game. And when he's taking those good at-bats, hanging in there against lefties, he's in a pretty good spot right now, and that's good to see.
How do you view J.J. Weatherhold as you start 26?
He's had a really nice spring. I mean, obviously the on-field results everybody can see. The key thing for me is how is this guy handling himself in camp, because this is a different kind of camp for him, and he got off to a great start with respect to that. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. First couple games, there were some misadventures on defense, let's call it, and he went to work, and that's exactly what you hope to see. And that kind of approach, that even-keeled but purposeful approach, has stayed with him throughout camp. And that's what we come to expect from him in the relatively short time he's been in our organization. So it's been cool to see that continue and him be the same person, even as opening day is drawing closer and as these decisions are starting to come to a head. You want consistency from everybody, but especially young guys. And it's comforting. It's nice to know that the same guy's been walking in that door every morning.
Now, as for your outfield, it still seems very much up in the air what those three spots are going to look like on opening day. And on top of it, you haven't had Thomas Saggese in camp because he's in the WBC. As soon as Italy gets knocked out, if that happens, you'll have Thomas back here and get him some much-needed ABs.
Yeah, one way or another, win or lose, it's not going to be that long now. I mean, in our seats, you get torn here because we do want these guys in camp, especially with someone like Saggese. We're trying to add outfield to his toolbox here, but also that environment, first of all, just hard to get in the way of somebody having that experience. But there are good things that can come from them being in that type of high pressure environment and a different environment, especially in some of those games. A team like Italy, they perform really well, but they're going to feel like underdogs in some of those games against some of the countries that they face. So there are positives that come out of it. All that being said, we would love to have him back in camp with us so we can continue his progression and continue that outfield work, and also make sure he's sharp in the infield as well.
The other right-handed bat that's intriguing is Nelson Velazquez. Now, if you were to add him, then you have to make another move because he's not on the 40-man.
Yeah, and these are things that we do have to factor in, knowing it is a marathon and there's going to be opportunity throughout the year. But we brought him in here for a reason, and he has really looked good, and he has opened everybody's eyes. We did know there was upside to the bat. He's still young for a minor league free agent, and for him to come in here and show the way he has been great. He hasn't really been tested on defense, but he's looked good with the opportunities that he's had. He's looked like an athlete. And so really only good things to say about how he's gone about his work and obviously results. And it's nice to see that. That's what you hope you get when you carve out an opportunity for somebody like this, is that they have really, they have a really good spring and they give you a tough decision at the end of camp.
We all know the story of Jordan Walker. We've been watching it since the day he was drafted, the day that he was made this team. I can still see it. He's standing outside the bus in West Palm Beach talking about making the club. He's struggling. I mean, we've seen it. How do you view the situation right now with Jordan?
The thing I will say about Jordan this spring, obviously the results have been what they've been. We've all seen that, and he would be the first to tell you if he were sitting here that this is not how he wanted his spring to go. The one thing that I go back to is the quality of the work behind the scenes is on a different level from what we've seen from Jordan in the past, and that's a really good thing. It does eventually at some point need to translate to the field, and he knows that better than anybody. But if you're having a spring like this and the right kind of work is not there, then you're not putting yourself in a good position. But he's been doing the things that we've been asking of him, and that makes you want to give someone like that more rope, because we know what the talent is. And if he's putting in work and committed to it and bought in a way that I don't think we've seen from him as consistently, That's admirable, especially because the results haven't translated, that he continues to grind and he continues to communicate well and he continues to try to put these things into action, take them from the cage to the field. I've said it a lot, and we all want this talent to be realized here with us. And the work he's putting in, I think, is going to get him a long way towards doing that. Just hasn't shown up on the field yet. And that's obviously not what we wanted to see. But the one thing, like I said, he is putting in the work, and it's been good work and a higher level of work than I think we've seen from him in the past.
We obviously have seen, I mentioned Velasquez, we've seen Nathan Church, we've seen Jose Fermin, I mentioned Sajasi. There are other possibilities out there in the outfield as this thing sort of comes to a conclusion as to where everybody will be. It's still, we're sitting here on Sunday. There's another week of camp, so we'll talk about them when we have to. Last thing, though, is as we get closer to opening day, and we're not too far away, how do you envision connecting with your fan base and getting people to the ballpark? Opening day is what it is. It's a phenomenal ceremony. Then beyond that, what do you see fans? What would you want? What is your hope for the Cardinals and their fans to come back together?
Yeah, well, the one thing that I have learned, you kind of know it from the outside, but the last couple of years learned beyond any doubt, and especially this winter now being a little more front and center, is how much this fan base cares about this team. And I think, frankly, the reason that hasn't been reflected in terms of attendance in recent years is they're not happy with where we are. Well, neither are we, but the care is still there. So it's on us to match that with intensity of our own so that fans feel how much we are doing to get this thing back where it belongs. I think on the field, I think hopefully, and this is a fan base, again, that always rallies around young players, homegrown players, and we're going to have those guys on the field every night. And we're going to have players that are going to be able to show you some interesting things. And there's going to be the upside of them doing interesting things on a daily basis. Beyond that, I want our whole organization, whether you're watching us play, whether you're trying to figure out what we're doing behind the scenes in the front office, I want our whole organization to demonstrate that level of getting after it. We talk a lot about style of play. We talked about it internally. We talk about it externally. We need to be a team that is exhausting to play against. And that's how we're trying to go about our work within the front office. That even if we're doing something long range, even if we're doing something incredibly unsexy behind the scenes, that we are tackling it with a lot of energy, that we're going after it like it's our game 7. That's really important to how we work. That needs to be really important to how we play, that we are competing every day, and not just as a cliche, but something that the opposition can feel and something that our fans can feel. And, I would hope that when we're doing that, I know we have the type of fans that will see that will rally around it. We obviously need to produce. We obviously need this product to be something that people want to come see. We do not feel entitled to anybody's eyeballs or their evenings or their dollars. That's something that we have to earn, but we're going to get after it to try to earn that every single day.
Thank you for the time. Appreciate it very much. We have a week to go here down at the Grapefruit League and spring training, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Sounds good.
Chaim Bloom joining us from our studio here at KMOX's location inside Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. We are minutes away from sending you to Cardinals pregame. John Rooney, Ricky Horton, Mike Claiborne, Ryan Schulte, our engineer, all standing by in our broadcast booth to bring you the game today. Richard Fitz starting against the Washington Nationals, and Miles Miklasz, the former Cardinal, here at Roger Dean on a nice warm day here. Just a couple of news items in case you missed it. We started the show with all of this from Ollie Marmol. Hunter Dobbins, the Cardinals pitcher, will start the season on the IL. He has been pitching, though, and has been pitching effectively. He is recovering from an ACL tear that he suffered last year covering first base. So that's the one thing that he's not doing yet, really, is covering first base. They're watching him closely in terms of his fielding and moving around out in the field, but he has been throwing. Everything is responding great. He's been pitching on the backfields. He was going to pitch on Friday, but we had a total downpour on Friday, as you may know, so he wasn't able to do that. They're going to start the season with him on the IL. They're not ready to say that about Lars Nootbaar just yet. We do expect some announcements coming from the Cardinals here over the course of this week. Ivan Herrera should be back with the team and in the lineup at some point this week as he's improving every single day. Jordan Walker is struggling at the plate. Talk to Chaim about that right there. He's going to be hitting in the cages, working with some of that tech back there in their performance center. So no at-bats for Walker until we get through this day off on Monday. Then they expect that. So there you have it. The Cardinals and the Nationals today. Thanks to all of our guests. We had some good ones. Bernie Miklasz, Jerry Palm, Andy Strickland, Joe Roderick, Dan Reardon, Chaim Bloom. Our producer is Drew Young, and I'm Tom Ackerman. And coming up next is Cardinal Baseball on KMOX.